BS.
Well, it's I, lovable baby boy Brank, and I'm joined by...
Just a guy today. Just a guy doing non-baby boy, grown boy, young adult boy. Yeah.
Tiny baby boy, grown adult, lover boy, loving that boy. That's what I heard you say, bro. I don't even know what's going on, and I just want everyone to know for the record... This is our first take. We get everything perfect. We have no technical issues. It's Super BS over here, a podcast about video games, mostly. We never have tech issues. And this villainous jank, as everybody knows, who is in the Florida Keys, living his life up,
I don't know what you're talking
is right
about.
now moving over to the Black Hills of North Dakota. Why are you doing that? Why are you being such an environmentalist hog? You're going to kill the earth by doing all of this moving. You're constantly burning fossil fuels, and I need to call the police on you.
I saw a documentary about coal mining, so I thought I would give that a whirl and see how that went for me.
This crazy, insane maniac, do you hear the type of person I have to deal with? Do you understand what we're doing here
That's
at
the
Super
black
BS?
lung. I'm sorry. No one can hear you over my black lungs.
I do like this black lung commentary. That's the thing that everybody knows. We are also dealing with the opium trade because this is 1910 America, and we're doing all the good things. We can't use most of the words here anymore because it's 1910. That's for the good guys. Anyways, baby boys, big boys, lover boys, little boys. It's us, and we're ready to talk about what happened over at the Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Game Showcase, the Ubisoft Forward, Ubisoft. I still don't know how to call it. There was a lot of gaming news. We know what you guys like to talk about. We know you love, your Hello Kitty Adventure Island plus Barbie Adventure Zone, and we found that all of those games are going to be coming to your favorite console. So that's actually what we're here to talk about. So please, out of the Summer Game Fest showcase, which aired last Friday, what was your favorite Barbie-related game there?
Probably the Barbie vs. Ken fighting game. It was called Spousal Combat. You see that one?
Domestic abuse. It's called DA.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, that is great. No, well, anyways, we josh you a lot, which is not the name of anyone on this podcast. And we like joshing you. That's one of our favorite things to do. Pulling your jank, as one might say. But the Summer Game Fest happened last Thursday, and it was a little bit of a weird one. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it because I was out of town, but I did get a chance to, check out some of the trailers. I'm not actually very excited about anything was released or discussed there.
Announced?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird showcase. So it started off, and we'll go through some of the bigger topics. It started off with the new Lego game, Lego Horizon Adventures.
Yeah.
And
that was a weird, really
it's
weird.
Strange.
Really
yeah,
weird,
it's a weird
game to
matchup.
Lego-fy. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. It also, and I talked with you about this off air. Just so you know, we talk off air too. Okay, we don't record every single one of our conversations for your pleasure, unless you're a Patreon, okay, and you're giving those big bucks. Then we record.
That's our $1 million
all night.
tier right there.
It's a Big Brother like Patreon reward where you just watch us at our house in our undesirable clothing. But yeah, the Lego Horizon Adventures, it's coming to Switch, which is I think it was a week or two ago we talked about God of War, and I was like, I bet that will be coming to Xbox. Well, this is coming to Switch. This is a weird one for Sony. But like we mentioned off air, it's not going to be the new third-person style Lego games like the recent Star Wars Lego game was from, I think, last year. Might have been 2 years ago now. It's just like the old top-down Lego games where you're just kind of like running around and bouncing around and doing stuff. I know you're a Lego head. I know you wear the yellow brick on your head everywhere you go, every time you go to Universal Studios.
And Disneyland.
Are you going to buy this game?
You know what? I don't know. I have to see more. Actually, probably not, man. I'm not interested in this stuff. Like if it goes on sale, on like a Black Friday sale or just some Cyber Monday or whatever, maybe I'll pick it up. But I'm just not. It's not my cup of tea.
You got kiddos.
Yeah,
you got kiddos. Don't you think you want to play? They'll want to play this co-op.
I do,
or whatever?
But they're also not into the Horizon series, at least not yet. So I don't really have a reason to go out and pick it up.
Are they bigots? Do they not like diversity? Because if they don't like Lego or if they don't like Horizon, that is actually the same as disliking The Last Jedi. And you're not allowed to dislike The Last Jedi, as we all know.
I know
it makes you a bigot and a racist.
Yeah, my daughters hate women. I don't understand that, man.
Sounds like you're doing something wrong with your raising of them. Anyways, these will be quick cuts because a lot of these I think we're gonna feel similarly. The Lego Horizon was how they kicked off the showcase, though, to give you an example of what a strange showcase it was. After that, there was like a Quidditch, maybe free to play game coming out called Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. That's coming out this year. I did not think it looked good. Did you get to see the trailer for it or no?
Yeah, I did. It's another one that's not something I feel like I need to go out of my way to play.
Yeah, we've already said enough about it. No More Room in Hell is a PvE co-op shooter. I have nothing to add about that. So let's get to some that we do have to add about. And you've got the list. I do too. So we'll call out some big ones. This one, we're going to only talk about it once. We're not going to double dip. Summer Game Fest had the ad for Star Wars Outlaws. There are 2 huge Ubisoft games coming out this year. Star Wars Outlaws in August and Assassin's Creed Shadows in November. Summer Games Fest got Star Wars Outlaws, the trailer for that, the quick trailer. Did you get a chance to check that one out or no?
Yeah, I did. I gotta tell you, man, I'm on the fence about this game.
Really?
It looks really cool, but also I don't trust Ubisoft to make a game that is not way, way too big to play.
Yeah, I'm more just interested in what it is. I think it looks great. I watched some of the Ubisoft Forward, which, we'll probably talk about this and Assassin's Creed Shadows when they come up early and then just discuss what the rest of it was. Yeah. But I watched a lot of their gameplay trailer and I thought it looks good. I was a Ubisoft fan back in the day, so I think I'll be giving this one a shot when it comes out, probably day one. It will have to do pretty poorly for me not to play it. I'm not even a Star Wars fan. I liked, what is it? Not The Last Jedi. I like Star Wars Jedi.
You're a huge fan of The Last Jedi. The Acolyte. You're loving
The Last
it.
Jedi. Oh, I watch every episode of The Acolyte, bro. I watched them twice. I know all the Trinity parts where she plays Trinity. She's my favorite Trinity. This next one was kind of a bit of a letdown. So there was a rumor before Summer Game Fest that 2K was going to bring a very exciting game, right? A rumored exciting game to the Summer Game Fest showcase. And we found out what it was. It is Civilization 7. I'm not a Civ player. Are you?
No, I'm not, but there is actually a huge following for these games. I went to the last time I went to E3, there was lines and lines of people waiting to get their hands on whatever not hands on, but waiting to play whatever the last Civilization game to come out was. And
them and the janitor from our high school.
Yeah, that's
Both of those groups,
that's right.
Play the Civilization games.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah,
janitors only is what the trailer says.
And there's a special in there too. You can play, and it just six the janitors on the other armies. They go and they sweep things
army.
up.
That's powerful. I cannot remember that janitor's name. He was a nice guy, but I do remember he loved
Steve. It was Steve.
Steve Marty. That everybody knows Steve Marty. 2 first names. He was well loved. We'll miss you, Steve. Okay, so the next one was, it looks like another Dragon Ball, I think it's called the Budokai series, the old fighting games from PS2.
Yeah,
I think they're making another one of those. Yeah, bro. Sparking !0. Yeah. nothing. It did nothing for me. And I'll try to not just go over all of these and like be terrible, but a lot of these games didn't look that great to me.
No.
Okay, just quick cut to mention it. Batman do anything for you, the VR game?
No, I don't have any way of playing anything like this,
Okay.
so no.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6 with the Fatal Fury crossover?
No.
Okay. This one was neat. Okay, so Blumhouse, the horror film company, is becoming a video game publisher, and they're releasing like 4 different games, I want to say they announced. Yeah, I think it might even be more. Yeah, it looks like 4 or 5 were in the showcase. But I don't know. I thought it was neat. They're all different style games. There's like a 2D, look like a farming sim game, but I doubt it's that. So yeah, they're becoming a publisher. Blumhouse Studios is. So now they're making Blumhouse games. I thought that was cool. Did you watch that little part of the showcase or no?
Yeah, I did. It looks. I might give it a shot.
Yeah, I liked the idea that there's more publishers. There were 2 publisher announcements today, which I thought were neat. After that, there was a Power Rangers beat 'em up, which I know neither of us are beat 'em up fans, but I will say this one looked really good. Did you watch that one, the Rita's Revenge?
I was
or Rita's
actually
Rewind?
pretty excited about this because it took me back to the old Sega Genesis game, or even going into like Pizza Hut, and you had the arcades that'll beat 'em up games like The Simpsons and
Yeah.
So I mean, I am a fan of the trailer. I will probably play the game, but will I love it? That's a whole different story in itself because I'm probably not very good at those games anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea that it's 5 players and there's like different styles of game, like there's a shooting section, and it looks interesting enough that like if it's a reasonable price point, I may pick it up. If it's on Game Pass, I will definitely try it out just because I think it's such a neat looking game, right? Like there's a kind of like, what was that section called? In Sonic 2, they had and maybe even Sonic 1, they had those worlds that you go in where you're running down the track forward.
Yeah, it's
like
Sonic
a 3D
2,
and then you run around.
You're running up and down the ramps. Is that what you're talking about from side to side? Yeah.
They have something similar to that in the Power Rangers game. And I don't know. I'm always a big fan when they mix up the style of genre occasionally. I think it's like pretty fun.
Yeah.
They had a mecha game called Mecha Break, and like stop me if any of these sound interesting because I'm just going to keep going through them.
Okay.
They have a free-to-play shooter called First Descendant they announced, or maybe it was announced. I don't know because I don't really follow free-to-play games. The next biggie was the Alan Wake 2 DLC, which came out like as soon as the showcase was done. It was a 24-hour release window. So that one looks neat. I did not like Alan Wake 2, so I will probably not play this. But the fact that like they have controls Jesse Faden, I don't remember the guy's name, but the Quantum Break lead character, and then like a waitress. I don't know. Yeah,
they're pouring all their eggs in one basket. But I will say the Alan Wake 2 Physical Edition is coming out, being created by Limited Run Games. You can pre-order it now, so...
Man, that's for the 4 people that listen to the podcast. This won't be for you, but for the 1 person on Earth that's still buying physical games, this is for you. Okay,
that was an advert for me.
I like it. You're advertising to yourself. Hey, just so you know, Jank, you can buy this. They now sell. Did you not buy the digital version of it?
No, I did not. I haven't even gotten to it yet. I'm still trying to get through Control because I'm obsessed with my continuity. So I got to finish Control before I play Alan Wake 2.
And all Remedy games are direct through lines where they have a last time. So you don't want to skip Control and go on to Alan Wake 2, a game that has next to nothing in common with the other one.
I hated Quantum Break so much, but you know what I did? I dragged myself through it.
You finished Quantum Break?
Oh, heck yeah, I did. I hated it, but it was...
You're the few, the proud, man. You should get the Marine shirt, dude.
No, I had to, though.
I don't know how many people finished that game. 10?
It was a pretty bad game, man, because we've talked about this before, but just the way that it like switches. You play like 20 minutes of gaming, and then you have 20 minutes of like television. It was a weird thing.
Yeah, okay, well... I won't be playing this DLC. It does look neat. For the people like Alan Wake 2, that's great. The Skate trailer. Honestly, this was one of my favorite trailers, I guess, if you want to call that, for the whole showcase. Not because the Skate trailer looked that great. I mean, it doesn't even have a date. There's like an alpha's coming soon. But I love Tim Robinson, and they did like a sketch with him at the beginning. So it was essentially like an I think you should leave sketch. Not one of the best ones, but still good. Then they had Valorant's coming to consoles. I think that's cool. I I will always want to play Valorant. I just don't have a PC, so that'd be a great way to play it. They did this weird thing with the Among Us creators called Inner Sloth. They created a publishing label because they have so much money now from Among Us. So they now have something called Outer Sloth, where they're going to be publishing other indie games. So I thought that was like a really cool thing that they did. You know what I mean? Where they're now doing that.
This is an animated series, right?
Neat.
It's not a game.
Well, they still have they have the animated series, but then they also they're acting as a publishing house. They're going to be publishing other games. So I forgot I think it's the guys who made Venba. I believe their next game is going to be published by Outer Sloth. I can't remember. There's a list of them, but it's neat. It's a really neat thing. The Dune Awakening MMO got another trailer. If you are an old-time Super BS listener, this game will sound familiar. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Had a trailer. That was like kind of a big... I feel like we talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance so many times on original Super BS.
Because we had one review copy that we were passing around amongst each other, and we all had different things to say about it. It was hard, man. Like I played
like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I played maybe an hour of it, and it was hard, man. And there's nothing about that world that I wanted to keep indulging in, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it for as low as like $5 for the deluxe edition that comes with all DLC, and I still just won't pull the trigger. Yeah. Nothing against it, but it has no ability to save. You just have to kind of like wait. You have to like sleep, I think, rest in game. Like you can't save whenever. So that stuff's annoying to me. I don't play games like that anymore. Slitterhead, the guy who made Silent Hill, his next game, Slitterhead, is coming out, and it looks really interesting. It kind of looks like I can't think of another. There was a game on GameCube where you play as like a poltergeist style game, and it might be called Poltergeist GameCube game. Let me see if that's what it is. But you go into other like spirits, and you get into. It's called Geist, not Poltergeist. It's called Geist, and it looks exactly like that. Like you move between bodies, right? Like you're a spirit, and then those bodies have different abilities. You fight enemies and stuff. A very different game than Geist, but that concept reminded me a lot of Geist. They had a Delta Hawk game or Delta Force game, which I didn't. It's whatever. It doesn't look that great. This one was incredibly awesome and just the weirdest game ever. They had a game called Killer Bean. Did you watch that trailer?
I did, yeah. Yeah, it looks...
It is the dumbest looking trailer. I love it. I think it could be funny.
What was that one, Pedro the Banana or whatever, that was on Switch? Do you remember that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know what you're talking. Yeah, I think it is called Pedro. It's not Pedro the Banana. It's Pedro... Oh, it is. Oh, My Friend Pedro.
My Friend Pedro. That's what this game kind of was giving me. My Friend Pedro
My Friend Pedro vibes. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I just think it looks silly. I don't know if I'll actually play it, but I definitely walked away. Do you remember a game called Dokev? That was like a few Summer Games Fests ago. It was like a Korean MMO Pokemon, but it looked insanely good, and you could travel the world. And do you remember that game?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I feel like every Summer Game Fest has just a weird off-the-wall title that I wasn't expecting, and I'm like, I kind of want to play this, you know? Like, this is the thing that's interesting to me. The creator of the game, The Stanley Parable, Davy Reedon, his new game, Wanderstop's coming out. Very weird game where you do alchemy or something, or you make tea. Life sim, tea making game. New World is coming to consoles, that MMO made by Amazon. I don't know. Does that do anything for you?
No. Honestly, like anytime something is made by Amazon, I just have no desire to play it because I know that it's probably going to be active for a few months, or there'll be something wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, this one's been active for like 2 years, so they've kept it going strong. I don't know if it's great. The Capcom game that was shown at Xbox last year, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, it's coming out in July, so that's great. That will come to Game Pass, and that could be cool. They had a Monster Hunter Wilds trailer, which we talked about this game, I want to say last week, because it was at the Sony State of Play. Yeah. It does nothing for me, again. Like, I feel bad. It's just not the game for me.
No.
And then Phantom Blade Zero. It's one of the many Chinese developed games that are coming out. I think it looks pretty good, but I would be like remiss if I didn't say like China doesn't have a huge development history when it comes to console gaming. So I'm not going to expect them to knock it out of the park with either this or Wukong. I'm hoping they're both good, but again, this is like a nation that is just getting into console AAA game development. So, it's kind of like how Korea hasn't been doing a ton of console games. They've been doing mostly mobile games.
Stellar Blade ended
up
Stellar Blade ended up being pretty good though. So I mean, you never know.
I love Stellar Blade, so I'm not writing it off because of where it's from, but I will say Stellar Blade definitely does not feel like a AAA game in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It feels like a very, very beautiful AA game. It feels super similar to Lies of P,
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah. Anyways, that was kind of it. I thought the Summer Game Fest was overall incredibly weak. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's nothing that I saw on there that I was dying to play. I mean, there's a couple things where I'm like, oh, it looks all right, but most of these games I will probably forget about in a month.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, man. I don't I just really didn't have many words. I didn't think about it much after. Like, I thought it was a meh showcase. I didn't watch this one, but I want to skip the Xbox one because it's really interesting and go to just the B-tier games from the Ubisoft Direct, Forward, whatever. So, obviously, we talked about Outlaws. We'll talk about Assassin's Creed more. I didn't get to watch any of the deep dive trailer. But just want to go over some of the neat stuff they did talk about. There's a Prince of Persia Lost Crown story DLC coming in September. I played a bit of that game. I think it's a lot of fun. They had an update for their roguelike Prince of Persia that just came out in May, which is crazy that they released 2 Prince of Persia games this year. They announced the Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake that was supposed to come out in 2021 has a 2026 release date. Yeah, so that one's crazy.
That kind of reminded me of the release path for Skull and Bones. It just kept pushing and pushing, and then no one ever talked about it again. And whatever happened to what was that? Beyond Good and Evil was the other one they were working on.
Yes, that's never coming out. And this Ubisoft Forward was, in my opinion, a mess. Like, if you read it as a single page, it's pretty interesting, but it was an hour showcase.
Yeah.
And besides those games, the only other things that were talked about was their free-to-play shooter they just released called X Defiant, and a strategy game called Anno 117 Pax Romana. So it was incredibly lame, right? Like, I think they might have had a sizzle reel with a little bit more, but there's just nothing there. I think you and I discussed this last week, but the refrain keeps going where if you don't have a lot to show, don't have your own presentation.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Just put those games in somebody else's presentation, right? Okay, so let's get to the biggie. Microsoft came back, and like we both discussed, it's a force of nature. I feel like everyone, unless you just hate Microsoft, thought this one was kind of wild. So we're going to go piece by piece because I feel like it's banger after banger after banger. And today's episode is going to be a little bit short, guys, just so you know, because we actually did have a little bit of technical issues. So it's a little bit late in the North Dakota Black Hills for my baby boy Jank, okay?
No, I know. And I was trying to record on my Fisher-Price microphone. I was getting too much feedback.
I rock him to bed. I rock him to bed at 9:45 sharp every single night, okay? And if he's not in his beddy by at 9:45 in his jammies with his little butt cheek falling down, things are going to go amiss. And things are going to get real bad real quick. So we got to go through this Microsoft thing. We will spend the time needed. We'll cover whatever else we didn't cover for the rest of this week. But let's go through it for the time being. They kicked off with a banger, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. That is just crazy to think like, hey, they own it now, and every single thing is going to be everywhere day one. No more exclusivity, which they had for themselves for years, and then Sony had for nearly a decade. That is done. It's just nice, man.
It's crazy to me that Sony does not do the same thing for other games. Like Phil Spencer, I don't even know if it's Phil Spencer, but he looks at something like Call of Duty and he says, why would I be stupid and not make money by putting it on other consoles? Where Sony's like, we hate money. We just like being snobs, and we're just gonna keep everything on our consoles. It's just it. I don't know. Yeah, I mean it. Let me ask you a question though. Why do you think it is like Call of Duty? Everyone's like, oh, I hate playing the single player campaign. No one plays the single player campaign. Blah blah blah. Why do they keep advertising the games with stuff from the single player campaign?
Well, what I do think a lot of people play the single player game or single player campaign. And I do think the single player campaign for this is going to be in the easiest sell ever because if you have a PC or an Xbox, you can play. I believe it's on PC. I think they said that.
Yeah.
It's coming to Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you don't want to pay the $70 for the game and you want to try out the single player and you have one of those two options, play it there. But hey, even if you're on PlayStation and you love the single player, you can buy it. You're not missing out on anything, right? You don't have to subscribe to a service to play it there.
Yeah.
So it's everywhere. I think the single player looks great.
No, it looks.
Did you watch any of the trailers?
Yeah. It looks amazing. Like it looks like a lot of fun. It's crazy to think that we are 6 Black Ops games down now. Like I still remember when the first one came out, and it was stupid difficult to play. So I don't.
Yeah, I love Black Ops 1 and 2. I think those are probably some of the peak Call of Duties.
Yeah.
That and like Modern Warfare 2. I really am excited to play this. I mean, the news came out that it's going to be 300 gigabytes at launch.
Okay.
They said that that's not going to be the case. The developers did, but I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. 300 gigabytes is
It's a big game.
a massive file size. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
And we know from last week that you love war crimes, so you're gonna love this game because you just love treasonous war crimes.
I saw my boy
anything
Bill
that,
being repped on that screen.
yeah. So you love treason. So that's just the way it works. Okay. So the next one, and like I said, I couldn't even believe how back-to-back strong it started. Doom: The Dark Ages. A like medieval Doom where you're still having a shotgun and a Captain America chain shield that you throw at people and you ride a dragon and get into mechs. This game looked insane. I kind of can't believe how awesome it looked. Like, I'm not a huge Doom person. I'm definitely going to play this day one.
Yeah, no, I agree. So the last Doom got really lore heavy, and this one looks to kind of expand more on like the origins and history of this character. So I don't know what it is, but I'm intrigued by Doom Guy, and I want to know more about him.
Dude,
so it's cool.
Doom Guy's got a crazy history, man. You don't even want to know the hell Doom Guy's seen.
The hell he has seen. Yes, no pun intended.
All puns intended. One wild thing about this game, I do think this is crazy, is this is coming to PlayStation day and date. Not all of the titles that the Xbox Game Showcase are, but Doom: The Dark Ages will be one of those titles. So this is kind of showing that Xbox is no longer just going to be platform specific with their first party titles. Depending on how they feel, it's going to be coming out to other platforms, which is a radical thing to do, but like we discussed yesterday, like we discussed last time, I think this is going to become the trend. People need to find a way to make money. The old way of not putting it everywhere is kind of going to be done. It's really just going to be, can it run it?
You can't, these companies can't afford to not do that now. They can't afford to explore every income revenue they possibly can. I mean, look at Square. Like, they talked about that several weeks ago, talking about how they're going to be seeking to put things on other consoles because it's financially it's not working out for them to be tied to one company or another.
Yeah, I don't mind it in the end. Like, I prefer this to just exclusivity for exclusivity's sake. I think because this is first party Xbox, it doesn't need to be on PlayStation. I think they would be forgiven if they pulled this third game. But I do think the fact that the other two are on PlayStation, like 2016 and Doom Eternal, it's kind of nice that they're letting these people finish the trilogy.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like, hey, you have to go back and, buy a Xbox to play this.
Yeah.
After that, they did a State of Decay 3, not gameplay trailer, but just a trailer with, I think, maybe a hint of gameplay. It's hard to tell, but it was more of like a mood piece. I thought it looked neat. I never can get deep into those games, but I'm always fascinated by them because I like all the systems that they present, like the base building, recruitment. I think they're cool. I'm hoping this one's great.
Yeah, so they all kind of look the same to me, honestly, and I always think to myself like, oh, maybe if I got nothing else to play, I will play it. But then again, I never get around to playing them. So, yeah, it looks like a cool game. Looks like a cool game. And it'll definitely have some people because there's still a big, what do you call it, big following for zombie games. So I mean, I'm sure it'll get people playing it.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this. Call of Duty's an October release. Doom is a 2025 release. State of Decay 3, which we're going to see this a lot, there was no release date. They just showed us a trailer, and in some ways that's really depressing because the first reveal was in 2020, and we're seeing it again, and there's still no telling when or if that game is ever going to come out. But it's good that they showed it. It's good that it looks like they've thought about it in the last 4 years, but it is weird. Right? And there was a lot of supposedly like studio issues that happened in the last few years. Just to prove the Xbox Game Showcase kind of had it all, they had the Dragon Age The Veilguard first trailer, which, used to be called Dragon Age Dreadwolf. It's the sequel to Inquisition. I thought the trailer was not the best. It looked really marvelly. It looked really cheesy. Did not remind me of Dragon Age, but they showed gameplay. Today, we're recording this on a Tuesday.
I saw that.
We showed gameplay, and it looks way better than it has any right to be. I don't know if it's going to be what the Doctor would love because it's less RPG and way more action game, but I think it still could be really fun.
Yeah, I mean the gameplay looked cool. It is definitely a huge separation from the former Dragon Age games, where like the character designs were really gritty and the world felt really dark. Like you watch the gameplay for this one. The characters seem a little bit slightly over animated and the colors are a lot brighter. Like it looks, I don't know, it feels a lot like a Fable game to me a little bit, just watching that gameplay. So I hope that it's good, but I feel like it's still going to disappoint some people.
I think it's going to disappoint a lot of people, but I will say if you're a Dragon Age fan and you stuck through Dragon Age 2, which I never played, I tried playing like the first 10 or 20 minutes and did not like that at all. I think you'll like this no matter what. If you're like me and you were an Origins fan, did not really play or like 2, came back to Inquisition, it's going to be a mixed bag, right? Yeah. So I think we've had to put up with a lot of weird games. Dragon Age is not like a Mass Effect, right? Where, well, I guess Mass Effect's not Mass Effect anymore. Dragon Age is not a flawless series, is what I meant to say.
No,
Mass Effect, Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, you could say has flaws, but is really solid the whole way through.
Yeah.
Now, once you add like the new Mass Effect Andromeda, that's kind of more of what this all is, right? Like a series that is very uneven. Then we got some Starfield stuff that was really neat.
Yeah, it looks like a fun,
showed the first
little DLC.
Yeah, the DLC comes out. I want to say they didn't date it, which is lame. I think they just put 2024 again. But that same night, they released all of the modding tools. The creation stuff came out. So you can download mods on console and PC. And yeah, it just looks fun. I turned it on a little bit, downloaded one of the mods that allows you to do bounties. That was cool. Then they did kind of what always they do at Xbox, which is they showed some updates for one of their games, Fallout 76. They're going to do a big new region, or a big new zone, I guess, within the region called Skyline Valley, which I think is coming out in like a week or two. And then they have like, you're going to be able to play as a ghoul in 2025.
Yeah.
So yeah, for people who love that game, neat. I thought it was a fun trailer, but yeah, it's not for me, right? That's every Xbox showcase. They always show all the games that are live. This next one I thought showed really well, and I'm hoping it's incredible. It's called Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Yes. And it's coming out in 2025. It's coming to Series X. I don't know if it's day and date Game Pass, but boy, does it look good. I thought that just looked incredible.
Yeah, it looks like a beautiful game, and I love it's like a turn-based combat, but it's not. It's kind of reminds me of the Atelier games where you're not like picking and choosing. Like you're not just hitting attack and waiting for the character to attack. You're matching up the different pieces of different combos on the screen. And I don't know, it's just good. Yeah. It looks challenging, but also incredibly fun.
Yeah, the doctor probably saw this too, but it reminds me a lot of Lost Odyssey.
Yes,
honestly, that's the thing it
yes,
reminded me of
yep.
the most. Like a really mature looking, graphically stunning turn-based RPG. We just don't get many of those,
No,
right? Like
no.
most turn-based RPGs, they go for stylization because they don't have the budgets
Yeah.
for this. This is like really impressive. So I'm hoping it's great. I think it looks incredible. I'm hoping it's fun. We'll find out hopefully next year. And I'm hoping it's a Game Pass game. I think it will just be way better than, asking you to fork over $70 for it.
Yeah.
Next title they showed off last year. I did not think we'd see this one again this year. It is called South of Midnight, as like a swamp, southern look and feel. It's coming out next year in 2025. And honestly, I thought the gameplay looked like a blast. It definitely looks like kind of like a Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Not the most exciting thing to ever be released, but I thought it looked fun, right? Third-person action, jumping around, double jumps. You got like a butterfly cape thing that you can fly around with. Like, I don't know. That looked neat. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks cool. That's one of the few, not one of the few, but is definitely something that was on my radar. Sticking out is something I do want to play. I love the
Stop motion graphics, like the lower frame rate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was really cool. I don't know, just like the setting and the music and the soundtrack that was playing behind it. Like it seemed like a really neat and unique game.
Yeah, it's like a southern fairy tale, right? It's like something where you take place in Louisiana and like a folk tale, right? Like you're on a giant fish and there's a huge gator that's coming after you. I'm hoping it's great. I'm hoping it launches and it makes sense and is fun, right? If it's just going to be, by the numbers, you walk from location A to location B doing story stuff, it will probably be a boring game unless it's really short. But if they give you stuff to do and they give you those traversal mechanics, that could be incredible. Next, they did a World of Warcraft DLC trailer. Looked fine. I was very disappointed that this was not going to be coming to consoles, right? It's like an August 26th title, but it just was way too long of a trailer for not coming to consoles.
It was, but because I'm assuming that this is going to be the last expansion, so I understand, like, there's just too much.
I hope.
There's too much infrastructure in the game, I think, to port over to the Xbox. So I'm thinking that this is going to be the last one, and then they're going to move on to whatever the next Warcraft project is going to be, and that one will release
World
on
of Warcraft
console.
2.
I mean,
World of Warcraft 2, baby.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, or then maybe they'll go on to like Warcraft 4 or something, because I think the numbered entry stopped at 3, I think. So, yeah.
Well, that was for the strategy. For the MMO, I think they'll do a
right,
World of
that's
Warcraft
right.
2, because they still have a lot of subs. I want to say the recent count was in the millions still. Millions of people pay $15 a month to play it, right? So why not keep getting that revenue?
As well.
The Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater finally showed off a really nice, solid gameplay trailer. The rumor is it's coming out in November. I can't wait. That is probably my favorite Metal Gear Solid game.
So
is Metal Gear Solid 3.
Let me ask you this. Why do you think they started the remakes at 3 instead of 1?
That I couldn't tell you. I mean, well, I will say this. This is the one thing that makes me think that this is the reason, is Metal Gear Solid 3 is the first Metal Gear Solid game in the timeline. Right? It is actually the oldest game. You're playing as, I don't want to spoil it, but you're playing as a character that's very important to Metal Gear Solid 1, but you play as actually a different protagonist in Metal Gear Solid 1 because this is a different character. I can't remember the exact order. I want to say it's like Metal Gear Solid 3, I think maybe Metal Gear Solid 5, and then 1, 2, 4. Is the timeline,
weird,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But okay, well, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah, and also it's one of the most popular, easy to recommend versions of the games, right? So it is the timeline for the games, just so I can give people this, is 3, 5. Well, there's the bunch of portable games in between, but 3, 5, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4. So exactly what I said. And then there's a bunch of other titles too in between those, Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2 and all the other ones. And then they did a Sea of Thieves update. I thought it was one of the weakest trailers they showed there. I have no interest in the game, but also
strong,
I just thought
though, man, people still love it, or else they wouldn't keep making content for it. Like 13 years this game has been out.
No, 13th season.
13
The game has only been
yeah.
out since like 2000, I don't know, 2016?
2016, yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. 13 seasons. But I mean, still, like...
Oh, no. 2018.
Yeah,
So it's been
okay,
around for
all
6
right.
years.
Yeah, I mean,
Still a long time.
It's a long time, but most games like this would be going on to, or most games would be going on to like a sequel by now. With this game, still people are still jumping into this world and playing it. So,
It is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, all I was about to say is I just thought the trailer was weak.
Yeah,
I wasn't disagreeing with you when I said I just thought this specific trailer, this update trailer was weak compared to
Yeah.
like the previous years where they had Pirates of the Caribbean as crossovers and all these other things. Like the rumor or the hope was that it was going to be a One Piece crossover trailer.
Okay, that would
You
have
know,
been
like something
cool. Yeah,
interesting.
right.
Yeah. This next title I thought looks killer, and it's coming out next month, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. They showed this one off, I want to say 2 years ago at the Xbox Showcase. It's from the creators of Ashen, like an indie title, but it's like a Souls-light style game. It's a AA title at best, but I'm excited to try it. Coming to Game Pass, July 18th. I thought it looked just phenomenal. I think it shows really well. They have a very good stylized look to that trailer.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out for sure. This game, this game did. I remember seeing the trailers originally, not being crazy interested in it, but seeing what they had to offer, at this showcase made me kind of a little bit more interested in it.
Yeah, man. And then we'll probably try to. Man, there's so much to talk about. I'll try to do a couple of these quicker. Age of Mythology Retold. I think that looks great. I actually thought Age of Empires 4 played great on Xbox, and it's coming to PC September 4th. Did you ever play the original of this? It's a remake of it.
Oh, no, I did not. I've played the Age of Empires games, but I don't think I've ever played these ones.
Not Age of Mythology?
No.
Okay, so we'll all scoot through some of these other ones, but there's a few biggies we have to talk about. Perfect Dark. I think it looks insanely good. They showed it off.
Yeah.
I think my only criticism is there is no release date, no window, no hope. It looks so good. And then we're left with, well, maybe 2 years, because without giving us 2025, I don't think it's coming next year.
2026 maybe. But yeah, I mean, this is a confirmation that the game exists, though, which is great.
I'm stoked. I can't wait. They did a Diablo 4 cinematic, which was probably the creepiest cinematic I may have ever seen in gaming. Yeah. It was it's insane. Fable. They finally showed us some gameplay. It looks stunning. It looks incredibly beautiful. It's kind of hard to believe it's a game when they show the trailer, like the actual gameplay of her walking around fighting. I thought, I can't wait to play this. 2025, no actual date, just a release window. Anything that you thought about it?
What's funny is that Fable, Dragon Age looks like Fable, and now Fable looks like how Dragon Age used to be. So it was
it's
interesting.
Insane.
Yeah, but I liked how in the end of the trailer they showed what could be the hero from the last set of Fable games. So that could be interesting. But yeah, no, game looks really great. I'm excited to get my hands on it. 2025, I think it's when it's supposed to release.
Yeah, I'm hoping they don't push this one back. They need to release it. Playground Games needs to make us another Forza Horizon and now another Fable. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. I think it's going to be really, really great. They had a couple small ones here. Fragpunk, a multiplayer shooter with cards. They have a weird like mouse game called Winterborough, which is like a cozy title. And then I think the first indie that really stuck out to me and one I may try, and I think you liked this this company's previous game, Mixtape. The director or the developers of The Artful Escape.
Yeah,
this is their next game.
Yeah,
and I think it looks insane.
It looks great. Like I love how the soundtrack is incorporated into every aspect of the gameplay. So that's looks really cool. And I think there's also a stop motion game.
Yeah, it has like a weird frame rate thing, kind of like what is that? Enter the Spider-Verse, right? Like how they do that weird framey thing where the game's playing in 60, but the frames are being read at 15 or 12 or whatever, Yeah. And that's the police coming to take me away because they don't like that I'm talking about mixtapes so highly.
Don't know.
They had another Microsoft Flight. They had another Microsoft Flight Simulator. This one's for 2024. Looks great. I'm not going to play it, but it's still like a beautiful looking title.
Massive file size for that game. I put on. I downloaded
100 gigs.
Yeah, I downloaded it, and I suck at it, and I deleted it. So.
Well, it's not new for you. You don't know how to click heads and tear people to shreds like me. You don't do 420 no scopes.
I don't do 420 no scopes.
Yeah, because I do that, so I was good. I actually landed all the planes.
You're so good. We all bow to the mighty Brink.
I did that. I landed the plane blindfolded backwards. Actually, it was a weird feat. No one's ever landed a plane backwards before. I did
Defied
it
the laws of
in
gravity.
Microsoft Flight
even.
Simulator.
Wow. Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road update for that looks neat. This one, I feel like you played the first game in this series, Life is Strange. They're making a new one. This is kind of a big get for Xbox again, because I know the people who like this series loved the last one, True Colors.
Yeah.
And the next one's coming out
They went back
October 29th.
to the original character set for their
Yeah.
the original character. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, I don't think I've ever actually finished one, but I do like them.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's great. I probably won't play it. It's not my style of game. Never been a big Telltale fan, and it's kind of that style game.
Yeah.
This game I'm excited to play. We still don't have a date on it. I thought this trailer was not the best. I thought it was way too long, but the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I'm excited to play it, but I will say I thought the trailer was a little weak.
Okay,
What'd you think?
let me know if I'm the only person that thinks this. Watching the trailer, you could tell it's supposed to be a really fast-paced game, but there was something about, like, when he was throwing punches, like, everything seemed a lot slower than it should be.
I have no clue. Just something felt off about it. I've played the other games that Machine Games has made before, the Wolfenstein game, so I'm expecting it to be good. But boy, I thought that was a bad gameplay section that they picked.
Yeah,
where it's like mostly mostly cinematics, right?
Yeah.
In-game cinematics.
Yep.
Then they had a Mecha Break game. That's whatever. They had a game called Wu Chong Fallen Feathers, which looks like a boss rush style game. It's coming to Game Pass. They had another trailer for Avowed. Again, like Indiana Jones, coming out this year. Still no date. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know why they can't just give us a date for everything.
Yeah. This was one also they showed when the Xbox Series X was first announced. Remember that? Like they showed that during that showcase too, and we've not seen anything from it.
It's a weird one, man. I'm hoping it comes out. It's the Obsidian title. It's supposed to be out this year. After that, Atomfall definitely reminds me a lot of Stalker.
Yeah.
It's coming out to Xbox in 2025. They did an Assassin's Creed Shadow thing. We'll probably need to talk about that on another episode because there's a lot to it. Next episode, we'll probably start talking about all the games that had gameplay trailers. They finally re-revealed Stalker 2. It was a Ukrainian developer. Obviously, the war going on over there. The game got pushed back. This was supposed to release, I want to say, 2 years ago. It is now coming out September 5th. I'm hoping it's incredible. I never have played a Stalker game. I always wanted to. This one's coming to Game Pass. Easy for me to be like, let me just
excuse
peek
not
in
to
there.
now, yeah.
And then the last two things, they announced a bunch of new consoles. Not like upgrades in most senses. They're just like bigger hard drive space, and one with diskless. That's the same hard drive space for Series X. But I don't know. I don't really know what to think because it's a weird time to put it out, especially with PlayStation 5 supposedly releasing a Pro at the end of this year. But I've heard the rumor is that Xbox is they're going to try to release their next-gen console in 2026 to get ahead of the PlayStation 6.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to put money and time into making just repackaging consoles with bigger hard drives when you could just...
Maybe it doesn't cost much, right? Maybe it's just such a low cost for them that they're like, why don't we just put it out, right? We'll sell it for... Because I'm tempted to get it. I'm so sick of moving around files all day and night just to play games nowadays. Games are too big. Games are 100 gigabytes very often.
Yeah.
And 1 terabyte is not enough.
You know, I don't understand the white Series X, like the all-digital one. Like, why do something like that? Why not just... Because the Series S was supposed to be the digital one, so why are you creating a square console that has no disk drive?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just what they want to do, I guess. I agree with you. It should be way smaller than it is. We'll probably have to have a deep dive into more of this stuff from this conference, but we just have to at least touch on this since we'll at least have gone into all the trailers at this point. Gears. They finally did it. There's a new Gears coming out. You're the big Gears fan here. Explain to the people what's going on.
So they make you think, you're like, when the trailer first airs, you're like, finally, Gears of War 6, but it actually shows a young Marcus Phoenix having what appears to be a bad dream or something, and then hand reaches down. He looks up, and it's Dom, not Dominic Toretto, but his buddy Dom from the original Gears game. So I don't know, man. Like, this is E-Day is a prequel. I think it takes place during the Aspho Fields book that came out a while back, but I don't know, man. Like, I see this, it looks cool, and they say it's supposed to be a return to the horror like structure of Gears of War 1 and 2. I don't remember them being too horror like, but I am concerned about the future of this franchise, as Gears 6 should have come out a long time ago. So it makes me wonder if they messed up the narrative and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. So like, oh, well, let's make a prequel. Because wouldn't it make more sense to finish the current trilogy before you put out a prequel game?
There's a lot we could go in on this one. They have mentioned they're going to finish up the trilogy at some point. They're not getting rid of the Gears 4 and 5 trilogy. They're going to go into it. I actually think this is the better call. It's been so many years. 2019 was the last Gears. I don't think people care about that trilogy anymore, and I think E-Day is way more exciting overall. I think E-Day is just going to be an incredibly fun game to play, like going and trying to get the Locust as they come out of the, I don't even remember what they're called, the hive holes. What are they called?
They're just called
locust holes,
right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like to see those locust holes.
Oh,
anyways, team, this guy is getting cranky, okay? I'm seeing him. I'm worried that tonight's going to be a rough night. We're not going to get the sleep he needs. So we got to hit the road. But honestly, we're going to be talking to you guys for the next few weeks about summer games and the games coming out. Because, to be honest, the gaming that is out there is bare for a bit. There's like Shadow of the Erd Tree, the Elden Ring DLC. Beyond that, but there's still a Nintendo Direct that's coming out, and there's still tons of embargoes for games that were played. So I'm still excited. We will have a lot to discuss, I think, real soon. And I think Xbox is going to finally give us those dates at Gamescom in August. So I'm pretty optimistic about everything shown today. Anything that you want to add before we hit the road, bro?
Nah, I forgot about Gamescom. I'm right about to finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so we'll
talk about that soon.
Yeah.
Okay, bro. Okay, well, peace be upon you.
Peace.